You're listening to the WRAL Daily Download. I'm Fernandez. Election results across the country are showing positive signs for Democrats. Since President Donald Trump started his second term, special elections to fill vacant congressional seats have yielded tepid Republican turnout. Democrats have flipped more than 24 GOP-held legislative seats. And in North Carolina, Democrats last year won almost every single municipal seat up for election in Wake County. That raises the question, can the Democrats harness that momentum to gain control of at least one chamber of the GOP-run North Carolina General Assembly? And if not, will they be able to muster enough power to affect policy? I spoke with WRAL State Capitol reporter Paul Specht for more. Here's our conversation.
So let's just start this off, Paul, with the question. Could Democrats actually take back a majority?
It would be hard. It's not impossible, but political analysts say the way that these maps are drawn makes it very, very difficult. You would need a big blue wave. You would need a blue tidal wave, if not tsunami, for that to happen. Not out of the question, especially given just the way things are going. Political analysts have told us, most midterms, after someone takes the White House, the party in power loses seats across the country.
We've seen this for a long, long time.
It's only not happened, I believe, twice. There have been only 2 midterm elections where the party in power did not lose seats. Instead, they gained seats. We see the signs of Democrats doing well. With gas prices being higher, with the U.S. at war and a conflict with Iran, and people generally being very concerned about the economy and affordability.
Cost of living.
Yeah, absolutely. So Democrats do expect to pick up seats. Whether they can take a majority is going to be hard. And that's because in North Carolina, lawmakers can draw their own districts. And they can draw them to a partisan advantage, according to some state Supreme Court rulings and I believe the U.S. Supreme Court. Anyway, the law allows them to do that. And so they have. Redistricting is supposed to happen only every 10 years, the 2010, 2020, coming up here in 2030. But because of various lawsuits, I've lost track of how many.
A lot.
They do it a lot more frequently. And now in the state Senate, it's extremely hard for Democrats to gain control of that. Even though there are fewer seats, there's 50. Republicans control 30. You might say, they only need to win. Democrats only need to win 6 seats to get a majority. It's that would be really difficult. In the House, it's more possible because you have a bunch more districts. It's 120, and so right now they have Republicans have 71 seats, Democrats have 49. The gap, they could close that gap, but it would take a lot. So that's not what I would expect. It could happen, but I would not set my expectations for that on election night.
Okay, so if that is not what you would expect on election night, what do you expect on election night? Or maybe I should rephrase it, what's more likely to happen on November 3rd?
Right. Well, this is going to sound weird, but there are ways for Democrats to gain more influence in our state government besides gaining a majority.
Oh, okay.
Right now, Republicans have a supermajority in the Senate, and they're only 1 seat away in the House, and that means if the governor vetoes a bill that he doesn't like, they have almost, except for 1 seat, all the numbers they need to just override his veto and put the bill into law anyway, right? And they've been able to do that with help from Democrats, specifically 3 Democrats in recent years, Shelley Willingham, Carla Cunningham, and Nassif Majid. Democrats decided, hey, you're not loyal to Governor Josh Stein, a Democrat, so we're going to go after you. And they did, and they won in the primaries earlier this year. So those 3 lost. They're expected to win their races in November because they all come from Democratic-leaning districts. We spoke to Minority Leader Robert Reeves about his expectations for the fall just recently. And he said, you know what? I think with those, if you brought back the entire current crop of my Democratic caucus and swap out those 3, swap in those 3 Democrats who won, who are supposed to be more loyal to Stein, I think we could uphold every veto. I think we could stop all veto overrides. Now, whether or not that's true. We'll see. But that is more within reach. If they can Democrats can give themselves a little more padding, then they can stop overrides, and that gives them more influence in the bill drafting process.
Interesting.
Republicans can't just say, like, all right, well, we'll just call up our friends, Cunningham or Willingham or Majid, and see if they want to join us, and just push things through anyway. So if I were a Democrat and I were logging on election night, what I would look to see is how many more seats, in addition to the 49, they can win. And they expect it to be a few. So that's where I would set my expectations is, okay, just how much more influence, how much of a safeguard can the party add there?
So you mentioned election night. Let's go ahead and pretend we're in our time machine, right? We've jumped ahead to midterms on November 3rd on a Tuesday. You're watching on WRAL because of course you are.
Right, of course.
Of course you are. You're watching, all the stuff you all are doing. You're watching 50 and 30. Shout out 50 and 30.
Yeah.
You go to the State Elections Board website. You're looking at the results. Which races should you focus on? Which ones are going to kind of paint this picture to tell you how things are swinging, if they're going for the Republicans, if they're going for the Democrats?
Right. So you don't have to follow all 170 races.
That would
right?
be a lot.
Okay. There are 3 that Democrats in the House. Let's just focus on the House. The Senate is probably out of reach. Don't worry about the Senate for now. For the sake of gaining control, we're really looking just at the House, right? Democrats have to defend 3 incumbents who are in kind of swingy districts. Lindsey Prather, she's out in the mountains toward Asheville.
Mm-hmm.
She won in 2024 despite Trump winning her district. So she's on shaky ground already, right? They also have to defend Dante Pittman. He's an incumbent Democrat. He's out near Wilson. He's in a toss-up district. Again, he won in 2024, but, you never know what's going to happen on the ground there. And then there's another guy named Brian Kahn, and he's closer to the Triangle, I think a little bit north of us. But he won a toss-up district as well. And so you watch those districts. If Democrats cannot protect those 3 incumbents, they're probably in for a bad night. If you can't protect the toss-up seats you already have, then you're probably in trouble. That supermajority for Republicans, or that being 1 seat away, they might be able to hold the line. Republicans might. However, you log on, you see Prather, Pittman, and Kahn are, and that's COHN, are all winning. You're like, okay, Democrats are going to keep what they have. How much better can they do? Well, there are 3 other races you can pivot to. The ones that I would look at, starting with Tricia Cotham. That name sounds familiar. She's from Charlotte. She was a Democrat for a long time. Then in 2023, she abruptly switched parties. She's now a Republican. She's helped the GOP pass a lot of bills. But even still, they redrew her district. It's still among the most competitive in the state. So Democrats are going after her. Check Cotham's district. She's out near Mecklenburg County. Here, closer to home, there are also 2 races in Wake County to watch. One is Erin Perret. Her district in the House covers Holly Springs, I should say Fuquay-Varina and a little bit of Holly Springs. That's what she covers. Wake County's been turning bluer and bluer, and she's an incumbent Republican, and people are watching her. There's another man, incumbent Republican, named Mike Sheetzelt. He is in a northern Wake district that sort of stretches from Falls Lake and Wake Forest and wraps around sort of toward the outskirts of Knightdale. Those are 2 toss-up districts. If Republicans lose those, if Democrats win, they're in for a good night. If they can protect those first 3, and then they can win these other districts and flip those 3, Cotham, Perret, and Sheetzelt, who knows? I mean, it's hard to say. Those are the easiest ones to win. If they sweep those, shoot, maybe they do get close to a majority. Now, that's not what I expect, but maybe they come close. Those 3, I'll say it again. If Democrats can defend, you're defending Kahn, you're defending Pittman, you're defending who did I say was the other? Prather out in Asheville. And then you're flipping Paray, Sheetzelt, and Cotham. Man, that would be the makings of a blue wave.
Interesting. And this is why I like talking to you so much about this stuff, Paul, because obviously we pay attention to the big races, right? Whether it's nationally, whether it's, at the Senate or, the House level, but getting a chance to really dive into the state government level, stuff that is so important. This is really good stuff that, I don't know where people are getting this anywhere else.
Well, I appreciate people tuning in to YouTube and obviously WRAL because it's complicated.
Right.
Supermajorities and stuff like that is complicated.
It's a lot of races.
I'm trying to make it as easy as possible to understand. And so on election night, you tune into our WRAL or go to the Elections Board website. I think it's ncsbe.gov. Go to elections. There's a dashboard, and you can play with it there. Watch those 6 races. That will tell you what you need to know about the future of state government and how much Republicans will control it or if Democrats will gain some influence.
Thank you to Paul for that conversation, and thank you for listening to the WRAL Daily Download and for making us part of your morning routine. Find the latest North Carolina news on our YouTube page. Just search WRAL. Another great way to get WRAL news is the Morning Briefing newsletter. It's a daily email with Triangle news, events, and headlines to help you get ready for the day. Sign up at WRAL.com/newsletter.